Okay, great. Okay, so we're running out of music, because all this whole track or this render here is based around the actual music. So if you start introducing different tracks, it start making different types of beats. So you've got to be careful with that. So if I actually raise this up and expand it out, technically this should start here, right? But because I'm trying to snap in and out of scenes, let me just stretch that out. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I should be coming from here. Now I can't change the music because the actual vibration of these particles here is based around the actual beat. So you might find a different beat that you want that's a little bit more pronounced, which is great. So this one over here as well, if I stretch it out, okay, let me do that anymore. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that into here. And there. So see these two slopes, this slope and that slope. So I'm going to be transitioning and then back to the original track. Okay, now I need to do something with the narrative very soon. Now back to the scaling, because let me just see what's happened here. Okay, so this is the 100. So we want to be zooming in. That works. And this one over here, okay, let me see what's happening here. Okay, that's because this level is down. Okay, so what we're going to do is add transitions in a second, but first of all, let me get the zoom happening here, back to how it was before. So the first, it was zooming out, I believe. So let's go let's zoom in. Okay, that would work. And here it's already gone by then. So we just don't have anything here. So we're going to have to move this one a bit more here. So we actually have some footage. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so he definitely disappears there. So let me just measure that. Okay, so out and then bang, going down. Okay, let me find. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so that's the next keyframe. So we are going to grab that keyframe. So we've got two keyframes here. So we're just going to grab these two, move them across, grab this one, move that one there. So let's have a look now. Good. And then comes back to the main scene. And then what we can do is a fade out. So now let's bring this down into the main file. So now we're going to do a transition, and we have multiple transition types that we can use. So let's find one here on the left hand side. I've got the transitions, I've got the effects. Now I also have Red Giant, which you may or may not have, but basically you can use any of the transitions you like. But since I've got Red Giant, I'll just use that just to give you guys a bit of an idea. So I'll just do the bouquet one here. That's video effects. Oops, let me. So that's that kind of impact you're gonna get. Okay, but in the transition, we need to have a transition happening. So let me get the right transition. The bokeh transition is here. That's what I want. So as you go from left to right.
One sound defined.
Okay, so here I'm going to, the effect, I'm going to modify the effect slightly so that, so the bokeh is here. So I'm just going to reduce, or I could even, so from here I can make it a little bit clearer. So from the first, from here around about here, that's 300, and then I can clear it down to round about, so it's 300 there. So I'm just going to key lock that, and then round about here I'll reduce the blurriness down to 0. So it's a long transition. So from here we got this type of transition working.
Of the cosmos.
There.
One sound defines the void.
And I can do another transition effect. So if I go down again to, we can do compound blurring, we can do a lot of other things. Let me see, what is this, a transition effect? Let me just make sure it's a transition effect. No, this is a video effect. We don't want that. We want a transition effect. Carousel transition, clock wipe, nope. We don't want diamonds. We don't want any of those 1980s type of transitions. Slides. We can just keep it simple and possibly just work with the bokeh transitions. So we just do that. So here we go.
One sound defines the void.
And then I'll do a zoom effect on the last bit. Okay, so this transition works as well. That works, that works. So now here, as it's going down, I want to zoom in to the Sonos logo on the last bit. So I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to look for the first frame and bring that in. And then I'm going to look for the last frame and scale that up. And let's see, how does that look like? Up, and I'm going to bring it down as well. There. Oh, not too much. And the first frame, I need to scale that back to normal. Okay, so now this is going to be the last frame, and Sonos is zooming in, and then there'll be a blackout, and then basically the sound will come down. Now, as far as a narrative, we want to basically listen in and see what else we can use from this narrative. Now, it's a very short piece, it's only 20 seconds.
Even the ones beyond this world, because great sound doesn't stop. Sonos roam. Sound.
Okay, let me just hear the voice. So I'm just muted the music.
Sound. Anywhere you roam. Portable, durable.
We don't need that.
For every adventure, even the ones beyond this world, because great sound doesn't stop at Earth. Sonos roam. Sound out of this world.
Now, I like this bit here. Great sound doesn't stop on Earth.
Because great sound doesn't stop at Earth.
Let's hear that again.
Because great sound doesn't stop at Earth. The ones beyond this world. Because great sound doesn't stop at.
Okay, I like that. So I'm just going to grab this and we're going to finish the scene with that. So let me just raise that up to 8.2, I believe that was 8.2. So just to match the rest of the way, there it is. So let's listen in. Oh.
This great sound doesn't stop at Earth. Sonos roam.
Let's try again. Now adding the music.
Because great sound doesn't stop at Earth. Sonos roam. Sound out of this world.
Okay, so now I want to have an effect here as well to kick in. So what I can do now is do another transition. Exposure blur. That's gonna glitch transition. That might work. Let me see how that works.
Sound out of this world.
Sometimes when you do glitch transitions, people actually think there's actually something wrong with the video. So, so you got to be very careful when you use that. I like using it. I mean, I like how the effect, but sometimes it doesn't work. Turbulence transition. Let's see what that's about.
Sound out of this world. Sound out of this world.
Yeah, that's simple. That would work. So here, what I want to do is I want to introduce a video effect, something with blurriness. Oh, let's go to bokeh again, but this time we are going to blur it 300 at the beginning, and then round about here we will start transitioning. So let's go to the first frame, lock that in, and then let's go to round about here, and let's drop this down to 0. Okay, so now the video is going to start something like this.
In the infinite expanse of the cosmos, one sound defines the void. Because great sound doesn't stop at Earth. Sonos roam. Sound out of this world.
And then you can have pretty much a trailer or a, or as I call just the credits happening. So you can add that now. Let me just look at the graphics templates. So you can have film credits. And there we have it. And simply change the names in the texts here. And we're good for the editing. So we can just change the title, say course video test featuring, you can have featuring speaker, music by, and I usually name the name of the artist, etc. So you can just simply say Pixar Bay, and let me go to the media browser, library. Unseen Danger. FSS. So you can have something like that. Director, you can put your name in there. For now, I'll just put nothing in there. Story by, and you can put your name in there as well, but I'll just leave that blank. What I will do is I'll say tools used, and that would be CINEMA4D, Adobe Premiere Pro, and that should do it. So then when you basically finish that off, there we go. and that just disappears. Now what you can do as well with this, if you go to effect controls and go here to the first frame, so as it appears, once it appears there, so this is, you can then start, you'll lock that position and then go here and you can raise it like that. So therefore, when it kicks in, it starts moving upwards and then fades away, and we're done. And now the music, we need to fade the music away, so we're just going to reach out to the very end, bring it right in and zoom in. And it's not good to sort of just finish it right at the end there, so it's like you give it a little bit of a trail. So, and bang, there. So
In the infinite expanse of the cosmos, one sound defines the void.
now just going to listen in, give it a
Because
final
great
look.
sound doesn't stop at Earth.
That's-
Sonos Rome, sound out of this world.
Good. Okay, so let's have a fit to the screen and let's play it again. Okay, so we've got a bit of effects happening
Infinite
here.
expanse of the cosmos. One sound defines the void. Because great sound doesn't stop at Earth. Sonos Rome, sound out of this world.
Now I really liked how it was bouncing up and down right towards the end, so you can expand that and get more frames in. And yeah, so all right, everyone. So that is the post-production. So we've included footage. So we've done the final renders over here. We've got the narrative on top. We've got the music happening as well, and we've mixed it all up. We've added a few transitions and a few effects, and then basically this is your first cut, and then you can send it in and get some reviews and feedback and just modify until you get something that you really, really like. And I'll post an example of one that I've done earlier as well, but yeah, you can play around with so much here. You can change these objects, make them bigger, make them larger. You can scale them to the music as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do to this footage to make it really, really good, or as they say, make it pop. But oh God, I don't really like that statement. But anyway, that's what you can do. But that's the process essentially. That's how you go about making a video. You edit it, put music, put narrative, and mix it all up, and send it back, and you get some reviews. Or if you work in a team, somebody will be responsible for the transition effects, someone will be responsible for music. But in this case, we're doing it we're doing it all. So. But that's okay, it's all part of the practice. Okay, well, thank you very much. I really hope you enjoyed this course, and I hope to get your feedback, and write to me, send me your links. I would love to see your work, and hopefully I'll see you around the CINEMA4D corridors, and with all of your creativity. There is a lot to learn, a lot that you can use, a lot of things that obviously I did not have time to show. But in essence, we were able to model an item. We were able to texture it. We were able to take some still images of it. Then we're able to create some video footage of it. And we're doing some post-production here in Adobe Premiere Pro. Again, you don't have to use that. You can use anything else. But this just gives you the full view of the full cycle from beginning all the way to the end using CINEMA4D. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.